Alright folks, so there was a video request to make another video of up here in the woods, how this is all looking. So just take a little walk down here. You can see here where I bale grazed on bales last year, where there was nothing but weeds growing, and there's some grass growing now. I really should mow it with a lawnmower to knock back those weeds. Maybe next year that'll happen. You can see down here the grass is filling in. We are going to start cutting firewood here any one of these days now, so a lot of this brush is going to get pushed farther down the hill as we cut trees down. Try and get the brush piles to the bottom, then we'll probably burn them. But if you can see down in the woods down there, all that green grass is growing nice. That's the stuff I hand seeded after I dropped those trees down there. This is all growing nice. I do not plan to graze it again this year. The plan is to just let it grow, and then it'll just become mulch for on top of the soil for next year. Down here, this is where we fed those bales last year. This is all growing nice. It's nice and thick. It's actually pretty tall. Like this orchard grass here is knee high. Here's my knee. It's all up past my knee here. This is all that stuff I hand seeded down in here. Tomorrow I am probably going to go to the seed store and get a few more bags of that pasture mix seed. Now that this is growing, I can kind of see where I seeded and where I didn't. So I'll probably get a couple more bags, like these trees along here, throw some seed there. Down in that pile of stuff, I need to throw some seed in there. You can see going through here the spots that I missed. So now that it's growing, I can see those spots and get some seed on there. But yeah, the boss and I discussed starting to cut this firewood up and haul it back to the wood stove here one of these days, so we will get to that. That'll clean a lot of this stuff up. You can see in there the spots that I missed, and the nice dark green spots that are growing. It's actually coming a lot better than I had thought it would have. I should have went and got more seed and spread a lot more of it, I guess. But I was kind of afraid that it wasn't going to grow. I really didn't expect it to grow like this. So, and then this stuff over here was seeded the last year. You can see how nice that stuff's looking. I've never really seeded anything over in there, so I need to hit that area too. But then going down here, I didn't seed anything down in here either, so we need to get that. I need to get these logs. These logs all loaded up and hauled back to the wood stove so we can burn them this winter. And get this cleaned up so there's more grass growing for the cows next year. Let's get a nice view of the bean field. It's turning pretty quick now. So, what I'm probably going to end up doing is coming back out here with the saw and dropping a bunch more trees. So, at least if the trees are laying down, the grass sees more sunlight. So, then we'll cut up the wood as needed or whatever, or when we get time. Probably come out here days that I'm here, nobody's here to help me, and drop more trees so they're laying down, so when I do have help, we can be blocking and loading and hauling back. So I've never really had help doing firewood in the past, but now that the boss lady is going to school and she's working different shifts, she's home a lot more, so I think we're gonna have her help do firewood. And try and get this opened up more. And you can see down here how I left a few trees. That's kind of the plan for the whole thing. I don't want to get rid of all the trees. I plan to burn firewood for a long time, so we don't want to get rid of all of them. But the back pasture that we clear cut, that's not really amounting to be much for pasture. The brush and the weeds are coming so thick that they've kind of choked out the grass. So I have a feeling I'm going to keep grazing it, but I have a feeling here in the next 5 years it's probably not going to really be a pasture. It's going to be thick brushy woods again. And what we'll probably do with that is, once it gets to that point, go through and start thinning that too. And then doing it like this, where you do a section and then get grass growing, but don't thin it too much, because it seems like if you thin it too much, all you get is the weeds growing instead of the grass. It all competes the grass. So, which is fine. Those woods can grow back up, and then we'll, that's 6-7 acres of woods, so that'll just be more firewood for down the road. But there is grass starting to grow in here. It's still going to be too shaded to get really good growth until I thin it more. Like this grass in here, once these trees are full canopy again next year, it's kind of going to choke back this grass. But as we open it up, the grass will start to flourish, and hopefully we won't get the weed issues like we did in the other one, where we just had the loggers come in and clear the whole thing. So that's kind of the plan. And like, I can't remember who said it. Somebody said it. They really described it best as making it look more like a park. That's kind of the plan. So there'll still be a fair amount of trees for shade and whatever and stuff. So, but you can see how well it's filling in that stuff I seeded by hand. But like I say, I'll probably run into town tomorrow and get another bag or two of pasture seed mix and go around here and hit these spots that I missed. I can't really tell if this is orchard grass or if it's ryegrass. If I knew what it was for sure, I would just go get that, because I'm only really seeing one type of grass in here. Now here, this could be different. There's supposed to be some Kentucky blue, rye, orchard, Timothy, a bunch of the other stuff. I never really had much luck with any of those other ones unless it came on its own. So I just wish I knew which this was, if it's orchard or if it's rye. Because if it's orchard, I'm just going to buy Latar orchard seed and not buy all the other stuff. Some of the pastures have, it's either Kentucky blue or it's June grass. I wouldn't mind getting some seed for that, because that stuff really comes in thick. It doesn't get quite as tall as like orchard grass does, but it does fill in thick, and I think that would help choke back a lot of the weeds. But it's going to be hard for me to tell exactly what this grass is until it's grown up and more mature. It's really easy to tell once it gets a seed head on it, because ryegrass obviously looks a lot different than orchard grass. But yeah, this is what it's looking like. Like I say, there's a video request for it, so I figured I'd make this. We got a half-inch of rain last night, so can't do a whole lot of anything else today. Like, that's orchard grass right there. Orchard grass is kind of a bunch grass, so I don't really know what that is. I'll probably just go get 2 more bags of that seed mix, and then see how it turns out. next year, if it doesn't turn out the way I'm hoping, we won't buy it anymore. So it is coming. There's definitely going to be more grass here for the cows to eat next year than there is right now. It'll look even better once these trees are cut up and out of here. And probably what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep working along the top there until I meet this edge where it gets thicker, and then we'll start at the bottom again and go over so far and then keep working our way from west to east on this field, on this hillside, and get grass growing, and eventually we'll be all the way to the property line. So there are maples I'm gonna leave throughout, like that big maple there we're gonna leave. Probably end up leaving this big maple here. There's some oak trees, and like that maple's gonna stay, that maple's gonna stay, that cherry tree's gonna leave. So that's kind of what I got planned for this. This is what it's looking like. It is warming up. It was in the low 50s this morning, and now it's almost 70, so I'm hoping if I sprinkle some more seed, we'll still have enough days that it can germinate and get started before it gets too cold. With the way the weather's going, it could be warm into November, so if that's the case, anything I still sprinkle out here for seed could look like this before winter yet. And I want to say that seed, that mix is like 120 a bag or something like that, so it's not terribly expensive. So it's well worth the gamble to try seeding it yet this year. If it doesn't grow, it'll be out $150 to $300. So, but if it does grow, it'll be that much farther ahead before next year, so it's definitely worth a shot. I should actually run and get it today, but got other things going on, so not gonna be today. But this is what it's looking like. It is definitely coming, especially right down there. You can see where I fed them bales. That's coming nice. And deer was bedded down there last night. And you can see over here where I fed those bales what it's looking like. The cows never did get this one cleaned up. So in a couple of years, this is going to be a very fertile spot. And you can see there's actually grass sprouting from that hay. So that's why I get big square bales from that buddy of mine from those fields over there that they can't cut until after the 4th of July, because by the time they cut it, a lot of it is already mature, has seed heads on it. The cows will still eat it. They don't like to eat all of it, but what they don't eat leaves mulch like this on top of the ground to break down. And as you can see, there's grass starting to grow in this one as well. So these will be pretty fertile spots here in the future. And this year I am hoping to bring the fertilizer spreader up here and broadcast some fertilizer. But as you can see, I'm going to have to drive down right here, and then on the way back I'm going to have to drive where the gator is. So we're only going to get about 100-foot wide spread with fertilizer. So it'll help the top of the hill here a little bit. But the biggest thing is, every year when I always feed some hay to try and prolong the move of the cows is certain times of the year for the grass. So like this next year, I'm probably going to end up feeding hay down along here in this valley. The south facing slope is more gravel and shale, so that needs a lot of help. So we'll probably bale feed down around those stumps. And actually the plan is to cut the stumps off before we get any snow. The reason a lot of these stumps are high is because of the snow. When I cut them, that much of the stump was underneath the snow, a lot of them. So that's why a lot of them are taller. I will cut them off yet. I'm going to end up trying to cut them as close to the ground as possible. And the plan is, I was going to do this last winter, it never did, but all these old pine stumps that are still up here, my plan is to go through and drill holes on top of all of them, and then fill them with used oil and diesel fuel mix, let it soak in, then start them on fire, and then burn them out of the ground. So once they're gone, that'll make a huge difference. Obviously they're pines, they're going to burn better than most, and they've been cut down now for, geez, I don't know, 5-6 years, something like that. But the plan is, that's probably what I'm going to do with most of these stumps. Like you can see that area that we cleared last spring and seeded down, that's all perennial and annual rye. That I'm going to end up throwing some more seed on. If nothing else, just orchard grass on it, because the one rye isn't going to come back most likely, and the other rye is probably going to be thin. So, but if I burn these stumps out of the ground, that'll be one way of getting rid of them without tearing up the ground any more than I have to. So, but the plan is, once we get out here cutting, once it cools down a little bit, the plan is to buzz them all off at the ground. I have an old chain now for my little saw, so we'll use the old chain to buzz those up, so that way if I bugger up the chain, it's not a brand new chain. So anyways, that's what it's looking like. Stay tuned for more videos of actually doing some work out here, because that'll be coming soon. So probably gonna start within the next week or two, depending on building projects and whatnot. It'd be nice to get some of this done before we start combining. So yeah, anyways, there's just a little update of what she looks like.